in terms of trends, what does the current IT security landscape look like from a business perspective at the moment?
It's actually looking pretty bad because the increase of malware and threats is actually increasing. What we're seeing is, for example, something called drive-by download. It is when you infect a website and you just have to browse that website. You don't have to click any links, nothing. You just enter the website, and the website contains that malicious code, the exploit code, that can download some kind of Trojan or virus to your computer, and that is increasing. And that's also a problem because you don't really have to interact with something to be infected.
So the IT risks are evolving with the technology?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, many companies, they spend a lot of money on new technology, new features, new functionality, but they actually forget the simple stuff, password management, accounts, and so on. And that's also a risk.
Speaking of companies, now the workforce has become more mobile, so to speak. People are accessing mail and information via things like smartphones and tablets. Are we seeing a risky technology like Trojan, worms, malware being adapted for the mobile space?
Absolutely. We, as a security company, we've been crying wolf, I don't know for how many years now when it comes to mobile devices, but it's not until now that we've seen malware that actually does something bad with your mobile device, stealing banking information, stealing information, sending that information back to the bad guys.
Now, our security technology is evolving just as well as the so-called risks. Now, with all the security technology available today, why are companies still being hacked to the same extent as 5 years ago?
My point of view is because they're focusing way too much on the future. I've been asked that so many times, what's the current threats for 2011, for example? And I will not answer that question because we are not able to secure ourselves 2010 or 2000. So we need to take many steps back and look on the stuff that we've been talking about since 1980s, password management, local hardening, configuration, instead of focusing on all the new technology, all the new functionality and products, blinking lights, and it should be firewall and coffee machine one in one. And I mean, we just need to take some steps back and focus on hardening and password management.
All right, now you're speaking about the blinking lights and the fabulous technology we have, but how much of an impact does the human element have? Because you can have the greatest IT department and the best security protocols, but if people are making unsafe decisions, popping a flash drive, not having encrypted data, how much does the human element impact security protocol?
Very much. I mean, especially when it comes to education, because if you have an education plan for your IT department, it probably includes security, but it's only for the IT department. You don't educate, for example, finances or PR or the other normal personal on your company. You just educate the technical people, and it's not the technical people that's clicking on all the attachments and receiving all the data. It's most likely some HR lady that receives, I don't know how many CVs a month, and she's the one opening all these documents. So she also needs to be aware of all the threat landscape.
Now, how do you create that security awareness in the company, not obviously just on the departmental level, but from management working their way down?
I mean, you can either use external companies, or you can simply talk to your CSO and say, okay, we need to secure our company. And when it comes to securing the company, it's not about buying the latest firewall or the latest product. It's about just simple education. And it's not that difficult. It is simple stuff as saying you shouldn't have the same username as password.
Right. Now, when it comes to teaching and educating your workforce, it's also a balancing act, because you can have the best security and you can have best, but it also has to be practical for business.
Yeah.
I don't want to type in a 20-character password and work through 10 ways to authenticate my access. So how do I balance being secure but still being able to do business from anywhere in the world?
Of course, you need to use some kind of technology, that will help you eliminate all the easy stuff, the low-hanging fruit, and that can be done automatically with firewalls and antivirus and other security solutions. But when it comes to educating your staff, when it comes to password, you don't want to have a 12-character long password, but you can, for example, put a policy saying that you shouldn't have a password that's less than this many characters. And then you, as a user, you can decide the password yourself, but with some kind of complexity. And it's not just about the password. You can have a fairly simple password as long as the other resources are secure with encryption, with segmentation, and not just network segmentation, but also functionality segmentation, saying you work in this specific department, so you should only be able to access these resources. That's a functionality segmentation. That's also something you can work with that doesn't include a lot of technology and products.
David, as a quick wrap up, what should businesses be keeping in mind, not for 2011, but for where business is at now when it comes to IT security?
That most of the threats that we see today, they're web-based. So the next step is that the code, the exploit code, the malicious code, it will be placed on the web. The Trojan that you're downloading is placed on a compromised web server. The exploit code is injected into a blog or company website or somewhere. You need to focus on the systems that you interact with, not so much on attachments and files and so on.